Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Women Who Code podcast. I'm Manda Frederick. I am the Program Communication Managers with Women Who Code. I'm really excited to be here today with some of our fourth annual cohort of the Women Who Code Leadership Fellow Program. These incredible technologists have worked really closely with Women Who Code community and global over the last year. And sadly, they're ending their fellowship this month, but we have a chance to sit down with them today and hear a little bit about some of their experiences. For those of you who don't know, the Women Who Code Leadership Fellow Program is an annual program under the leadership of two Women Who Code Team Teal members. So a big shout out to Stephanie Rideout, our digital community specialist, and Grecia Castaldi, Director of Community. So every year, this program supports the development of 6 outstanding technologists through hands-on mentorship and training. After a rigorous interview process, one fellow is matched to each of the Women Who Code technical tracks. So we have mobile, front end, cloud, data science, Python, blockchain, which will be known as emerging tech moving forward. Through this part-time position, these fellows coordinate events, they direct communications like social media, they project manage program initiatives, support Women Who Code. It's unending the amount of support that the fellows give to the Women Who Code community and Women Who Code Global. So we have a chance today to learn more about their time as fellows and gain their thoughts on their tech stacks, the future of tech, and just overall their perspective on the Women Who Code mission. So I'm really excited to introduce you to the fellows. This is the first of 2 conversations we'll be hosting. Our fellows are all across the globe. So we have 3 of them today who are at a similar time zone that we could all speak with today. And so I'm excited to introduce them to you. And let's start with, we'll start with Luz. And everybody, we'd love to know your technical track, where you are, and what you're up to professionally.
Sure thing. Thank you, Manda. My name is Luz, and I am the Leadership Fellow of Cohort 2022 of Frontend track. And I am currently working as a consultant in Accenture. My current location is Monterey, and I am super excited for being here and about this amazing journey that we are just finishing up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mansi, and I am the Leadership Fellow of the Data Science track. Currently, I'm pursuing my Master's of Data Science at Monash University, where I'm taking in a research project in bioinformatics. Previously, I worked for 3 years as a data scientist in India in various IT and machine learning roles in the finance industries or consultancy industries. And I'm very excited to be here.
Hey, hi everyone. I'm Rashmi. I am the Leadership Fellow for the Cloud Track, and I'm a software engineer with VMware. I am really very excited today to meet everyone here and share my experiences. Thank you.
Wonderful. And I just love what a global community we have. Every time we have one of these conversations, I'm always reminded of just how far the reach and mission is of Women Who Code. And I think the fellows are one of the best examples of that. Just kind of to get us started, kind of kick off, I would be interested to know, what is one word that you would use to describe your time here in the last year as a leader fellow? And you can elaborate too, but I'm just kind of curious, what would just be if you could summarize your experience here in one word? And we'll start with Rashmi.
Sure. Thank you, Amanda. I think that one word that I can think about is inspirational. You know what? I think here, when I've connected with folks within the community or folks who are trying to be speakers for the community, I'm totally inspired by the way they want to, kind of learn something new. They want to deliver something new. They want to share their ideas with the community. So I'm totally inspired, and so inspirational is the word. Thank you.
No, I love that. I think that you're exactly right. It's just you come to any of our events, especially the Dev Summits that all of you lead, and that's the feeling that you get. It's just people are so excited, and it's just the energy just feels completely possible. Like everything's possible. It's such a nice feeling. What would you say, Luz?
To me, it was revealing. I didn't know how much I can handle. Since you are the one that is in charge of ideating social media strategy, planning events, and at times you play with different hats. And between managing the work and the track, to me was like, oh wow, I didn't know that I could do all of this stuff, and I feel more prepared and empowered to have more direction of other groups where I go now.
That's incredible. We don't realize how much of a journey every role is for us, and like having this moment at the end to kind of reflect on that. I think that's really exciting. And I'm really happy for you that that was your experience. And Mansi.
I'd say rewarding. And adding to what Luz said, that I am very fortunate that I got a good managerial leadership experience at a very early stage in my career. Yeah, and I did not know that I could do that. I had no prior experience in managing or leading teams because it just started my career. Like it had been 2 or 3 years, but it's been so fun and meeting people across the world. And I had worked with a good set of people, great managers, but it was just nice to have women managers and like powerful, inspirational women around me. So it's been really rewarding the past year.
Rashmi, did you find that as well, that you were able to do more than you thought you were going to be able to before coming into the program? So how did all of you know how did you suspect that you could do it, right? Because you did apply, you did join. So maybe, Mansi, what would you say? And I'd like to hear from all of you. How did you suspect that you could do it?
Actually, Women Who Code is a very nourishing community. So, before joining the fellowship program, I volunteered with the data science track for a year. So, my previous fellow, Zareen, I also worked with Stephanie, the fellow at like before me for the Python track. So, we all worked closely. And I think the way Zareen also like encouraged me to apply and to like she let us all know that we're doing good work, and she made sure that we're aware of our accomplishments. And it is different than working for other nonprofits. People would say like, oh, sometimes it's a thankless job or something, but like Women Who Code stands by its mission and like appreciates the work of its own like members also, just not the global members but its own employees and like its own team as well, and appreciate the hard work they put in. And like just like our applaud initiative, like we celebrate each other's very small achievements as well. So that was really encouraging.
And Luz or Rashmi, did you have anything to add, or was that your experience as well?
Oh yeah, so I wanted to add one thing. So I think I always keep telling about this, but I think Gracia and Stephanie, now that they kind of drive this, I mean, they kind of support us, right? So I think every time I've reached out to them for any help, or even when I've kind of missed out on something, or if I've made a small mistake, I mean, they were so cool. They always used to totally encourage, saying, "Hey, that's okay. You know what? Why don't we do this way?" So I think that kind of encouragement and support that I got from the community as such, so that is also a big thing. I mean, I think that's very important. Now when I think about it, I think all of us need that community for ourselves, where people could really appreciate us, accept us for what we do. So that is also one point that I'd like to touch on.
Wonderful. So, Luz, did you want to add something before I move to the next question?
No, I think that Gracia and Stephanie have been an amazing support to us. But every time that one asked something widespread out to the rest of the team, the Women Who Code team, there was always somebody that had the answer. And it totally felt like, oh, we're all friends that are working together. That sense of community, it's something that you with difficulty find in other scenarios, and that's the type of things that make you feel more encouraged and empowered in your role. And so kudos to all the team that supported us.
No, and thank you too. I think that this idea of like paying it forward too, just that you can take that lesson with you of what kind of community to build in your own careers, right? In your own communities. And aside from community, what would you say would be your favorite moment over the last year as fellows? And let's start with Mansi.
So we hosted a mentorship program last year for the data science track, where we like onboarded 25 mentees and 6 mentors. So we have like 6 teams of mentors and mentees across the globe working together. I think the kind of output that the mentees created, some of them had just started with the with data science and machine learning tools, and like the effort that mentors put in and the like output that mentees generate in terms of blog posts or like a GitHub repository with working machine learning models. And the review that they personally wrote to me or their volunteer in charge with their team, it was just very like fulfilling because we hit a lot of snags. This was the first installment. We did a lot of things incorrectly, like we forgot to add this or that. We shared the feedback form late, but in the end, it was like, and as an extension to everything we did well, the audience appreciated it, the participants appreciated it. So I think we're not doing this for the applaud, but it's just nice that it's reaching the people that we want and it's creating the impact that we kind of want to see in people who are attending our sessions. That was really nice.
I love that. I think we forget with like the Applaud Her program that a lot of times the applaud is a mirror, right? It's not necessarily about the ego boost or the accolade. It's that we hold something up to say to someone and say, look, you did a good job. You did a good job, and I think that's like one of the most beautiful aspects of the applaud, and especially from the mentorship program. Rashmi, did you have a favorite moment from the last year?
Oh, yes. So, so basically we had few volunteers. I mean, when I got started, so of course I had a lot of volunteers that I was working with, right? So that it was kind of the time when Stephanie and Gracia were asking me, so if I felt that there were few volunteers who had the potential to be promoted to other roles and all. So I saw that one of the volunteers was doing really well. She was taking up a lot of initiative. In fact, a couple of volunteers, and I kind of, particularly this volunteer, I told her that, hey, you know what, we really think you have the potential and we'd like to promote you to the lead role. And the moment I told her this, she was like literally on cloud nine. I mean, she totally celebrated the moment. She celebrated the fact that, she was going to be a lead and not a volunteer anymore. So I felt really good. I think that's one of my most favorite moments because, I personally have not been like a leader at work or any time in my career. So this, during this journey, when I told someone that they were going to get promoted to a different role, and the kind of celebration and amazement from that person, I think that's one thing that I'll never forget. And I felt, I mean, I always feel good about it. So that's definitely my most favorite moment.
Yeah, the feeling of helping other people rise or in acknowledging and seeing them is like it's addictive, right? It's just one of the very best feelings that you can have, and we've all had it done for us, and to pay it forward too is it's just such a nice feeling. I'm so excited for you that you have that experience. And
Thank
Luz,
you.
I'd love to hear yours as well.
To me, it was when I started having seeing the volunteers taking more action over activities that I used to handle, like social media and advocating in their own networks about the activities that they were doing. To me, it was sort of rewarding to see that they felt empowered in the community to do something and that they were talking about those stuff. And when I guess that one of my favorite moments, can recall exactly in what time, one of them told me like, oh, I have been a little bit idle because I got my first job in tech. And to me it was like, oh wow, that's an amazing thing. That's something that you have done, and anything that you have done here in the community is now paying you back. And it's also part of what we want to our volunteers, to find out the place that where they can take ownership over activities, show their skills, improve them, and get better job opportunities. That to me, that was a very rewarding thing and one of my favorite moments in the year.
Well, that's incredible. I think a lot of people enter Women Who Code and they're like, is it really, what am I doing here? And then they get that scholarship, right? They get that boot camp, they get that first job, they get that interview, and it's incredible. I was curious about your favorite moment and also what's something that you accomplished this year that made you feel extra proud. And I'd be curious to know if that answer is different than your favorite moment. So is there some accomplishment from the last year that you're most proud of that differs from your kind of favorite moment answer? And we'll start with Luz. Did you have was it different for you, or is it the same moment?
I think that it's one of my favorite moments because it makes you feel like that's something that you are doing. It's helping somebody else in the community. But I believe that overall, I feel proud of seeing that the community, it's a safe space where everybody can join and do coding, partnership, and join the events and be themselves. It feels very warm, a very warm space. And I believe that that's how what maintains our track. And I am very happy that everyone feels that they can bring up something to our community, and that is what enriches us, the diversity, and it feels super inspiring. That
Thank you for sharing. Rashmi, is your favorite moment different from your proudest accomplishment moment?
Yeah. So I think I have something slightly different. So during my journey here, right, as a leadership fellow, there have been times when, a couple of volunteers were not available for a particular event, or by some chance they kind of missed the actual time or whatever. So, for a lot of personal reasons. So the moment something like that happened, when someone was not available or when someone did not respond. So, initially I used to feel a little, oh my God, so someone is not able to respond. I used to feel bad about it. But then, you know what? I slowly started developing this virtue of actually overcoming the self conflicts and kind of accepting that it's okay. So, you know what? If I have to be a leader, it's very important for me to have a good relationship with folks around me. So it's okay. Like, I definitely do a lot of mistakes, and it's obvious that other volunteers or folks can also do mistakes. So I think that kind of developing that attitude to kind of overlook mistakes and also make sure that I'm still able to collaborate well and have a good relationship with them. I think that's one thing that I'm really proud of, because that's one skill that I've really picked up through this journey. So yeah, I feel great about picking up that skill.
Yeah, I think that speaks really well to Luce's proudest moment about the inclusive, safe space, right? That we're all just people passionate about tech, trying our best, And I think that most of us were showing up the best we can. And that when you're in a leadership position, leading that kind of culture and recognize it can be really positive. And Mansi, your proudest moment from the last year.
I think it was very nice to know that under my fellowship and I had an amazing team of volunteers. Data science track reached 5,000 members on Slack and then eventually the website. So that was really cool. And I think like Zareen jokingly said that, oh, you can mention it in the interview that I'll help data science Slack grow and maybe hit 5,000 members record. And I just also mentioned it in my interview, and it was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that was I felt good. Yeah.
I don't have the data. I probably should have prepared it, but you all were busy. The amount of growth we saw on the tracks this year, all the events, all of the increase of the social media and the Slacks, like all of it, you should feel super proud. The growth from each of you, from the efforts that you were doing, mobilizing volunteers, to Luce's point, it was astounding. And I wish I had those numbers to share off the top of my head, but it was incredible. So you're kind of the meat of your work was ambassadors, sort of your tech stack or your technical track, right? So each of you, and when you answer this question, if you could remind the listeners what tech stack you were leading as well. But I'm curious, what excites you the most about your technical track or your tech stack? What's cool in the industry? What's in the future? What's kind of cool for you? What you would like people to know? And we could start with Luz.
to me, it's a track. It's a practice, a front end that can be crossed with other practices like cloud, data science, and in fact, I believe that if not all, almost all the tracks have a collaboration event with front end, which is amazing. It's part of the trending technologies, and it's present always. So there's always something exciting to talk about: artificial intelligence, how to integrate with Python backend, how to deploy your application. So there's always something very interesting to talk about. And the upcoming events will be amazing with the new fellow. And I am excited about that.
Incredible. Mansi, what would you like to say about your track and what you're excited about in your tech stack?
I think the flexibility and the like the nature of data science that can be applied to all, like any industry, because all of the industries generate data now. So seeing that a lot of people from very different backgrounds like join our track and like learn from us, and find our resources valuable. So the growth that that data science track and the field in general is seeing is very exciting. And like it's kind of nice to see that like, people are appreciating the power of data and how to use it judiciously.
Wonderful. And Rashmi, what would you like to add about your tech stack or your technical track?
Oh, sure. So, cloud security, all of them want to learn more about cloud security now that all of them are hosting their applications on cloud. So, most of them are very curious to learn about cloud security. They want sessions, presentations on that particular topic. And also, most of them want to have like a study group where, they can get started. So, I think yeah, cloud security. I know cloud is a huge concept, but how we're getting deeper into security is something that really excites me.
Yeah, I love all of your answers because the common theme was kind of how widespread and upcoming and diverse each of the technologies are, right? That there's a little bit in each one of the stacks actually for any technologist. If you're building an app, you're probably going to touch on all of these. So I know we have our stacks and people kind of tend to dedicate to their niche, but that you're right. There's really a space for everyone in all of the tech stacks for all of the good work that you're doing. So I love your responses. And as far as your career, thinking about moving forward, how would you say your time in the last year, and you gestured toward this in some of your other answers, but how would you say your time over the last year as a fellow has or will empower your career or your career journey? Because that's really what we're all here to do at Women Who Code, right? Is to make sure that you're going to thrive in your career. So I'd be really interested in a concrete way for you. How do you feel that your experience doing the fellowship program is going to benefit you along your tech career? And let's start with Rashmi.
Sure. So I think one notable thing is the fact that I've connected with a lot of folks. So I've made a lot of connections, and connections with people who are primarily doing software engineering in the cloud space. So I think these connections, specifically, there are a few people who've kind of pivoted into different roles, who pivoted into different technologies. And when I've seen people talk about how they did it, how they accomplished the pivoting, and how they've kind of grown in their career. So, first thing, I think it's been very inspirational. And second thing, all these people that I'm connected with, they've kind of helped me, even over the last 1 year, whenever I've spoken with them, they've kind of given me some tips, some tricks as to, how I could grow, scale up, and all that. But still, these connections, I'm sure it's going to help me in a long way, in the long run. So, in a lot of ways. So, yeah, I think I'll give it to the connections.
I love that. It's really, once you're inside the community, you see how diverse. I mean, we put that we're a diverse community of technologists, right? And then you're in the community and you're like, wow, people know something about everything, right? And that you have access to this entire breadth of knowledge and skill set as people that you call your friends. I agree. It's just a treasure that you can't get anywhere else. I'm really happy that you had that experience.
Totally,
Mansi,
yeah, treasure. I love that word.
to treasure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess I think a treasure is something you can't buy, right? There's no membership that you could pay for to access the community and support and resources. And it's a treasure, the genuine treasure. Mansi, what would you say the way that the fellowship program has or will empower your career?
I mean, there was a significant moment last year only that I came to a new country and I had to like start get into academics like after 3 years. So it was a big change, and I just like that applied for a scholarship, women technology scholarship that was Pan Victoria. I talked about my work with Women Who Code volunteering fellowship, and that had a great impact in getting me that scholarship. So I told Gracia that, hey, I got this scholarship, and it was like for all women in Melbourne and like the entire state of Victoria. And they actually said that we want you to come and talk about your experience with Women Who Code, because that's what we do. Like we want to empower women through advocacy, and like this is a tangible experience. I got visibility and connection. So like everyone can see like it's there's like my picture, my portfolio is there on the web. Very visible, tangible experience, but the recognition that Women Code gives to all its members, and it's quite encouraging, and it actually shows in your portfolio.
I love that. And we had a little bit of lag in some of your video, but to summarize what you're saying, I think that you were getting at that you had a really tangible experience of applying for a scholarship. And when people saw Women Who Code in your experience, they specifically wanted you because you had that experience, right? Which is just, I think that that's really true. Women Who Code means something, right? If you're involved with Women Who Code, it means you're dedicated to tech, you're dedicated to diversity, equity, inclusion, right? You're dedicated to a more global world that's collaborative, right? So I think that's completely true, right? It means something that you're involved with this community. And Luz, for you.
To me, besides the network, as Rashmi mentioned, I believe that it allowed me to polish my leadership style. I was exposed in my current employee that to a leadership role, but it's the same culture because it's people that I work with and have contact with, some familiarity about the language, and also with a couple of other cultures. But it wasn't until I got as the leadership fellow that I had the opportunity to polish it in a more with a more human perspective and be able to work with different cultures, which is amazing. And that's something that I want to continue doing as my leadership style. It allowed me to be a way more consistent leader between what you say, what you do, which is crucial for me. And finally, it allowed me to polish my communication skills. I'm a super lover of this topic, but it wasn't until I got as a leadership fellow that it allowed me to polish my communication skills and say the things in the right time and with the right tone. It's something that it's very valuable, and I wasn't the leadership fellow with this opportunity. It's something that I didn't even get to do with this. So these are my three points.
Yeah, I think that we talk a lot about Women Who Code will give you your career skills and your technical skills, like level up your tech skills, level up your tech skills. And I think these soft skills, as they're called, right? Communication, empathy, listening, being a people first manager, these kinds of things, they're hard to learn until you learn them, right? So having the opportunity to work with people in like a really diverse environment, I could completely see how that would help you hone these skills over the last year. Kind of as a follow-up to sort of how Women Who Code has empowered your career, why do you think other people should join the Women Who Code community? Let's say they're on their fence. They're like, what? I don't know is that for me? Should I join that? What would you say to them? What advice would you give them? Or what could you say to them to encourage them to join? And we'll start with Rashmi.
Sure. Thank you, Amanda. I think actually I have a long list, a lot of things that I want to tell people. But primarily, I think two things is one, you really connections, you kind of, it's such a big community, such a big inclusive community. So you kind of meet a lot of new people. So if you're really looking forward to meet a lot of people and make new connections, then this is the place. And also, from my personal experience, I feel another thing is, for those who want to kind of receive some mentoring or some assistance from folks who are not within their actual workspace, or people who are not their actual co-workers, then I think this is the place, because we just have such a big community. And during a lot of our meet and greet sessions, I've just noticed like how folks come up with questions, and managers or folks who've been managers come up with great solutions, answers. So I think if you're really looking for a need to receive some kind of mentoring from people, I think then that's definitely, this is the place.
Hey, I love that. And Luz, would you have a different answer than Rashmi about why someone should join the Women Who Code community?
I think we all share the same struggles, And it's better that we have that support and empower each others. One of the things that I always enjoyed, or the events that I always enjoyed from this year, was the meet and greets, where all the members of the community were able to join and have these type of conversations about something happening in the industry, in technology in general. And it allowed us to share our different backgrounds. We have a community where everybody comes from, developers that have some years of experience in the industry, others that are recent boot campers, people with different backgrounds and with different levels of expertise. So it's something really valuable that you can give back to the community by being a mentor or being mentored, depending on the stage of your career. But as Rashmi mentioned, the value of the network, you're going to extend your contacts, and it's a network that shares the same core values and the same mission. And I think that's an amazing thing. You have nothing to lose. Why wouldn't anyone want to join the Women Who Code community with that?
No, I love what you're saying. I think that we're all in different parts of our journey, but there's a shared experience about being women in the world, right? There's a shared experience about being people who want something for their careers, right? Or trying to accomplish a goal, and these sort of shared human experiences. But that people are in different places on their journey that can give insight and advice. And I remember being at Connect Empower this year, and in the chat, one of the speakers had introduced the concept of, she had referenced imposter syndrome, which is something that we're all really aware of as a concept. And there was someone in the chat, and they said it was the first time they were ever discovering that idea. They're like, oh, there's a name for how I feel. And it was really interesting. It was really a good reminder to me, like how in different parts of our journeys we are, and like exploring, and that the community is such a place to help people move through that, right? And Mansi, for you, why would you encourage people to join the community?
I think when we talk about our resources and the work we do, it is very accessible, and like we try to reach to the very grassroots basic levels, like teaching people how to code. So not the big things, not setting up, like we also like do big initiatives, but like reaching more people, I think makes a great impact, so that people who are just getting started don't feel left out or out of place. So and as Luz said, there's nothing to lose. You can just try it out. Maybe it's not for you because the time is not right, or you're worked up in other aspects of your life, but there's nothing to lose. This is free of cost, and we try to build a community that you feel safe in. So I think I really appreciate that Women Who Code exactly does what it says, and we stand by our mission. So that is definitely a very good plus point for being a member of this community.
I love that. And all right, so you've convinced them. They're going to the website, they're signing up. What do you think for you, if they could only access one thing, or what do you think is the most valuable or important thing that of the Women Who Code offerings, right? So we've got all of our scholarships, we've got newsletters, we've got podcasts, for you, what would you direct them to first? Or for you, what do you think is a really valuable thing that Women Who Code is offering to members? And we can start with Luz.
I will say the learning resources. If you go to our YouTube channel and you are looking for any particular technology, there must be something from Women Who Code, a past event where one of our members of the community have shared. I don't think that there's something that you can't find about technology in our in our resources. So I believe that will be the first place where I will refer one of the to a new member. But also our Slack rooms. Our Slack rooms are the space where everybody can get introduce themselves, to find coding partners, to ask out your questions, and depending on what are you looking for in the community, there will be the answer there. So that will be my second place to ask our new members to join.
Okay, great. Both one on demand, just go and access it as you want, and one more kind of live interactive resource to access. And Mansi, for you, what would you direct people to first?
I think YouTube would be the best place to start because it shows how widely spread Women Who Code network is. Because it's not just the 6 tracks, like it's also the city chapters, like almost 200 city chapters, different networks, different languages, events conducted in different languages. So I also did a check when we were like building things for the mentorship program that could we direct them to past resources and everything GitHub walkthrough, how to host your model on cloud, how to create a front end application for your model, everything, like not just this year, like going back to past 4 or 5 years from a city chapter or a track event, everything's there. So obviously YouTube would be best place to start, and maybe then register to our newsletter because you get to know every Wednesday what's actually happening in the tech space and with Women Who Code. So definitely those 2 resources.
Wonderful. And it's true. I like what both of you said about the YouTube channel. The breadth of human knowledge represented in that library is incredible. If basically anything you want to do with an app or a website or career, there's something there, which is really, really cool. And Rashmi, well, where would you direct people first?
I think pretty much the same thing. So first, the YouTube and YouTube channels. So maybe now that both of them spoke about this more or less the same thing, I would like to also add a point about the Slack channel. So if they can actually, join the general Slack channel, and you kind of see what are the events that are happening or what kind of opportunities do they have, if at all they are interested in volunteering. So yeah, probably Slack is another thing that I think about.
Okay, perfect. And let's pivot back to your specific role for a second and not just to members. So every year we have an annual cohort. You were the 4th. We've just inaugurated the 5th, which is really exciting. But next spring, we will open up applications for the 6th cohort. And what would you say to someone to encourage them to apply to be a fellow? Maybe they're not sure if they could do it, or what words would you give them, or why would you tell them that they should consider applying? And Rashmi, I see that you're unmuted, so let's start with you.
Okay, awesome. Sure. So I would actually tell them if they really look opportunity to pay it forward to the community. So, I think this is the place. The leadership fellow is such a big opportunity where you can pay it forward. And to, kind of motivate them, I would really say, hey, I really don't think you'll have to worry about anything because this is such an amazing community. We have a lot of folks, volunteers, leaders who are going to help us, guide us throughout the journey. So there's really no need for any apprehensions or fear in any form. So I would just tell them, don't worry, you're just in the right place, and you should get started. And above all, I would just say, kind of leave it to the universe. When you have the right attitude to do the right stuff, so probably the universe will make sure that everything falls in place.
I think that I could just put, what did you just say? You said, you're in the right place. You should get started. And we could put that on a t-shirt, right?
Oh
I feel like
yeah,
that's
for sure.
such a nice message. You're in the right place. You should get started.
Yes, definitely. Just get started and
Yes.
do it.
And Luz, for you?
I will say you have nothing to lose. Um, it's easy to think that you are not ready or you do not qualify. It happens to all of us, and it happens to all job applications. Like, oh, I don't have all the skills are required. It's easy to think that, but you have here nothing to lose, and that's the opportunity to polish your skills in whatever direction you want to take on your career. If you think about it from the technical side, you will be able to keep up to date with the up to date technologies trends about your practice, for example, in the front end track, and you will also be able to bring that up to the community and learn from the people that it's a rock star in that field. And that's one of the places. And also you can be a speaker too. You know, because you're the leadership fellow, it doesn't mean that you can't be a speaker. It's also part of the example that you're giving to the community. but also for your leadership skills. It will allow you to grow, to be better at management, to be better communicating, collaborating. So from very integral growth in your career, it's an amazing opportunity that you won't ever regret. I believe it will be more easy to regret of not applying than for applying. I remember a couple of months ago, one of the volunteers reached out to me because she wanted to level up in her career and be a better mentor. And she had she came to me for a career concern. And a couple of months later, the new call for this cohort applications went out, and I told her like, oh, you have nothing to lose. And she is now picked as one of the new leadership fellows, and she's super happy. And I am pretty sure that she will be an amazing leadership fellow. And that's one of the things I believe that it is something specifically what she was looking for. And I'm super excited on seeing her next year.
Oh, that's incredible. And congratulations on encouraging her to apply. And right, Women Who Code, we run this campaign, apply anyway. This is in the spirit of what you're saying, right? Even if you think you don't have all of the check, apply anyway, right? So your shirt, the thing that you said that was brilliant was you'll regret not applying more than applying, right? So it's just, why not, just perfect. And Mansi, for you, why would you encourage people to apply to be a fellow?
I think it's like a amalgamation of what Rashmi and Luz said. Like, first of all, there's no harm in applying. Women, like, I think don't apply even if they meet 90% of the criteria. Although men apply even if they're meeting 50 to 60% of the criteria. And I thought like the applications that, like, when I was also applying, I thought the applications that are coming from are more experienced women, and I would probably be the youngest fellow or like the youngest applicant, or like still a student, like a student again. Like when I, and it can be a little overwhelming sometimes. But I think if I had not applied, I wouldn't see it through. So I think it's important to see things through in your career or academics, and just like not pass on opportunities. So definitely apply. Even if you don't get the program, you get access to a wonderful community, and you can contribute in other ways. You can learn in other ways, and yeah, it's a good place. It's a warm place. You should definitely be a part.
I love that as well. And I have this common theme of you don't have anything to lose. You're going to get something out of it, right? If you just start, your shirt is, it's a good place. It's a warm place. That's what the Women Who Code community is. So, and so we have a few minutes left. So I'd be really curious I want to hear your final thoughts and things like that, but I'm also kind of curious, just a broader question about tech, because this is what we're here doing, right? Supporting the careers of women in technology. And what's really exciting to you about tech right now, what's going on, or the future of tech, and just kind of your personal perspective on what people should be paying attention to, or what you're really looking forward to. And let's start with Rashmi.
Sure. So, thank you, Manda. I think any question about tech is, I mean, you don't have like a solid answer, right? Because every day when I read a news or an article, I'm like, oh my God, the tech is just expanding, growing. And I cannot think about the pace at which it's growing. So, for one thing, I feel is, now that we have a community where, we have folks who are doing something and they're all trying to share. So I think it's for all of us, how much ever we could read, how much ever we could learn about technology, it's very important that we kind of are associated with this kind of a common community to kind of know what's happening, what others are doing, share our ideas. And I think that's the only way we can stay abreast with the technologies and see at what pace it's actually expanding. Yeah, so these are thoughts that I have about tech.
No, I think you're really right. It's not possible to stay on top of everything in tech. That's a myth, right? That you can know everything, and with all the constant iterations and updates, but probably following your track, following the front end track, events, the conversations, it could give you a good idea about what's happening right now, for example, right? So I think the community can really help you stay on top of the skills and what's changing. And for you, Luz?
Particularly, I will say, well, definitely this is the best moment for being alive, speaking about in regards of technology, because, generative AI, it's changing the game for all the practices. And to me, it's a particular topic that it's exciting me about. And learning about how to integrate as a practice of front-end development, it's just amazing. So I would say that generative AI is one of my top topics, but the front end practice also has evolved as well. We are not looking for being just front end developers who build the design and make implementations in regards to design, but also make functional solutions and now deploying applications to the cloud. It's a very interesting field that is growing, but generative AI totally will change the game, and it's super exciting to see how front end will get adjusted as a general role with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying now is just the most interesting time to be alive in tech, and probably all technologists from every era thought that about the time that they were alive in, right? But I'm hoping that Women Who Code's around for a very, very long time, so we'll be able to keep seeing a change and growth for everyone. And Mansi, for you, what's exciting about tech for you, future of tech?
One thing that I always remember when I talk about tech is that my manager used to say, Mansi, when you're working in tech, I think your job is to make lives easier. And I'm not asking you to solve world hunger. You can make life easier by fixing a bug for me so that I can go home 1 hour early. And people don't realize that very small things, like for example, I have a back condition. It's hard for me to use the phone for longer, like than 10 or 15 minutes. So I don't use my phone that much. I also FaceTime using my laptop. So just like with the reachability access, I can just pull down the top half of my iPhone using my lower half, and it really helps my thumb because it gets very tired easily because of my back condition. And it's just that, like, trying to make product service, adding a new feature, modeling something, like adding accessibility, reachability features to your product, very simple things that change the logo so that people, like, it's a warmer color, good for mental health, this color has been proven to be better for mental health. I think this is like integration of tech with things that you like and do, and making life easier for other people is amazing. And what really excites me right now is the path that I've chosen to work in healthcare. I have no biology background. It's just that I've taken a very steep learning curve, but so was Women Who Code, and so is like my research year for the next year. I'll be working with a cancer research group at my university, and it's a great learning experience. And the things you do will actually impact, like, help my supervisor or my lab team just to like get a little ahead on things that they're like discussing. And the tech can integrate and like intersect with all industries, like I said previously. So it's just exciting to be a part of this revolution.
Congratulations on the study that you'll undertake. And yeah, I think that technology's job has always been to make human life easier, right? The wheel, electricity, vaccinations, whatever, right? And I think we live in such a modern era that we have so much tech that's fun that maybe we could forget really what we're here, what it's for, the technology. And I really love what you're saying. And I think that the Women Who Code community is really good about that. It's people first, right? It's like real humans making real tech for a real world, which is pretty cool. So I just want to hear any final thoughts that you had about Women Who Code or your time as a fellow, and just give you an opportunity to share your social links if you'd like to do that. And we'll go ahead and start with Mansi this time.
Sorry. Yeah, I think there's a lot of conversation around like people saying that, oh, AI will replace like humans, chat GPT, uh, like AI resume checkers and all that. I don't think robots could fix that reachability thing for me. They don't experience back pain. So, and Andrew Ng once, the developer of Coursera, the owner of Coursera, and I think he said that I don't think humans can be replaced because there'll always be one thought or initiative or idea which is transformed into tech. It's not like tech is growing on itself. It's just like ideas and like human emotions that are being fed into tech, and then it is coming out as solutions or problem solving. So I think we should just try to work on selves to be better, and it is and focus more on human centered interaction and like human centered designs and products. So people first. Yeah.
I love that. And Luz, for you, did you have any final words on tech or your time as a fellow or Women Who Code that you'd like to share with the listeners? And also your social links if you're interested as well.
Oh yeah, I will be enchanted to connect with the community in social media. You can add me at LinkedIn, Luz De Leon. It's how up here, and also in Twitter as well, Luz Aracely DLS. Final thoughts. I will say that thank you so much, Women Who Code, for this amazing opportunity. It allowed me to grow both technically in my leadership skills, and it's super exciting. It's a perfect moment to be alive in regards of technology and having these spaces to be ourselves and bring our best selves and make something work for the community. Technically, as Mansi stated, we're doing things that people can use and make them their lives too. But also as a professional, you can also make somebody else the experience better to grow professionally. And Women Who Code is the best place to come by.
Good for that, Luz. And Rashmi, any final thoughts about Women Who Code, your time as a fellow or tech?
Oh, yeah. First of all, I think I really want to thank Manda and the entire community because, my leadership fellow experience has just been truly amazing experience. And this 1 hour, when I spoke about it, when I thought about it, I think I kind of relived my moments. So thank you so much. And I think, yes, I would really encourage everyone who's watching this video to, kind of definitely stay connected with the Women Who Code community, because, I think for any role that you want to be associated with, you're definitely going to be learning something, and also you're going to be helping or contributing in some way. So I totally would encourage everyone to join this amazing community. And yeah, so I'm Rashmi Muralidharan on LinkedIn. So I think you could just find me using my full name, Rashmi Muralidharan, and I'd love to stay connected with people. If at all anyone wants to, kind of connect with me regarding any questions about the program, or how I applied, what I felt like, or anything for that matter, I'd love to stay connected and I'd love to meet new people. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I heard a rumor that most of you are staying on as volunteers or speakers or of some kind. So I know we'll be able to keep interacting with you over the next year. And I'm sure that we'll see you at the Dev Summits and some of our other global events, which I'm really excited for. So thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your thoughts. Just really thrilled to have you as fellows for the last year. And thank you for all your hard work, genuinely from all of us. Thank you so much for your hard work and helping move the mission forward.
Thank you,
Manda.
Manda.
Thank you, everyone.